Welcome, folks, to AS or A-level computer science. This time around, we're targeting computational thinking skills and algorithms. Please remember to subscribe to the channel so that you can always receive notification and latest postings. Please share and like the production so that you can help the channel grow. Right. The objectives of this session is to explain the purpose and need for abstraction. Well, abstraction simply means to hide. Here we are interested in getting rid of the complexities of program development so that it becomes easier and faster to do our development. So when in the process, you're going to be creating abstract models of the systems, also explain the purpose and need for decomposition. What's decomposition? Here we are breaking a large problem into its subcomponents that we can easily manage and solve. Then when we decompose a problem, like I'm repeating, it's just subdividing it into basic or manageable parts. Then next is algorithm. Within an algorithm, which is a step-by-step approach towards a solution, we want to select meaningful identifier names and also write algorithms in pseudocode using sequences selection as well as repetition. We want to convert structured English and flowcharts into pseudocode as well as explain step-by-step or stepwise refinement. Now, the key concepts that you're going to find, like we are recapping, is abstraction, which is the purpose of or process of removing unnecessary detail to focus on essential features. The purpose is to reduce complexity. Also, it makes a problem easier to understand, as well as saving time, memory, and processing power. Then decomposition, which we were saying is breaking a complex problem into a smaller sub-problems. The benefits of this process is to easily design and test. Also, it allows teamwork. When one person targets other parts, we combine the solution, then we are engaging each member of the production team in the process. Then it also makes debugging easier. Next is algorithms and pseudocode. What's an algorithm? We are saying it's a step-by-step method of solving a problem. Now, pseudocode uses no specific programming language. In other words, it's not language dependent, and it has got clear logic and structure, or it uses keywords such as input, output, if for, while for, looping. Then when we talk of stepwise refinement, this technique of starting with a general solution and gradually adding more detail until it can be coded or programmed. Then we've got these 10 worked examples that we want to try and address using the thinking and solution line we were discussing about. Now, there is a game. We're interested in abstracting in a game. So this is a racing game. What do we want to remove? We might want to remove individual engine parts, individual engine parts. These are going to bring a lot of complexity in the production process. Well, another one is to remove real world uh, weather effects. Because we are operating our game, we might want to try and refine so that we don't have external influence in the process. Then problems with full real-world detail. Here, what's our interest? There are problems that are given with, or that comes with full real-world detail. One is they are going to be very complex, so there's a lot of memory that will be required to do processing. So too much memory required. Why? Because there is a lot of data gathered, decisions to be made, you name it. And generally, when this comes into effect, generally will be processing will be slow. Because as long as there are many decisions to be done and a lot of computation and processing to be done, everything is going to be demanding, especially for the memory of the computing system. Then next aspect is development time is going to be lengthy. So it will take long to develop. So development time prolongs. So as long as we try to go the full real approach, then everything becomes quite complex. Abstract model. Here we're interested in looking at what we might be interested in considering when we are developing a school system. Now, with a school system, there'll be things that are quite key for us. Things like student ID. We want to identify students, marks, and attendance. So those are things that we cannot hide. Student ID, marks, attendance, we need this. So this is ideal. But things that we might need to abstract or hide now. Student. So when they are disappointed, we would like to have their emotions. Student emotions. This is not really necessary for our development of the system. One other thing that we might need to investigate, other than emotions, we might talk of their handwriting as they are attempting problem. So exact handwriting. These are things that we might need to hide away as we are developing our school system. Then next we want to look at decomposition of a game. When we are decomposing an object, it means we are breaking it down to basic or minor components that we can easily manage. So if this is a game, when we break it down, we are going to parts that we can fit together to come up with a complete game system. So one thing that we might need is the menu itself. So we need a menu for the game, which will tell us which options we want to take. We also have player control, but to make selection of the players who are going to be taking part in the game. Sometimes we might also be interested in the scoring system. If you win, how are the scores awarded? So scoring system, as well as the sound system. You want to do your settings, which tones do you need for a given notification, you name it. Then structure diagram. We wanted a diagram, but I'm going to discuss it that, well, if we are looking at a game system, we have the main part or the main frame, which will also input handling. Your feed and instruction is going to give us a response to say what exactly should we do from there. Then the game logic. It's also something that we would need. And also we will look at displaying the output or the result of this action. So display output. Okay, moving on. We're now looking at identifiers. Identifiers are the same as variables. You see, when you are developing a program or a system, you need proper identifiers that make sense for other programmers if they want to work on your code, be it modification or improvements, or generally error correction. So if you have identifiers like ZZ3 or 3Z3, these are very complex for one to follow. What exactly do you want to say? Say, for instance, it's a banking system. If you want good identifiers, you might talk of things which are meaningful, like ways that one can follow to say, these are meaning something. Instance, let's go to our previous example of a game. We can say player score. We're going to be pointing to the manner in which scores are awarded. Then lives remaining. As we are participating in the game, sometimes you lose lives, you want to check what's your balance, then you might be interested in also picking a user age. So these are meaningful because you can at least read and make sense of exactly what the variable is going to be storing. Then next, we are interested in basic or simple pseudocode. And like we said, pseudocodes, they simply use keywords like input, output, if, then. let's have a look at a basic one, which will say, let's receive from the user a name. So we will store the name in a variable. Output, that's when we are displaying what we received from the user. We can say hello in quotes because this is text. Then we call the variable name. I'm sure that will give us a feedback, or it will display the name that will be provided to the computer system by the user. Then an example of a selection. We want to look at selection. Now, when we are selecting, it's like we are making a decision. So let me try and say for an activity written, if you get greater than or equal to 50, then it's a pass. So we can say input so that we can read, mark, or score. Then we can now test the condition. If mark greater than or equal to 50, then we can now output or display on the screen output pass in quotes because that's text, else. In other words, if the first part fails, we are now going to the else. Else, we are going to display fail. So that's output fail. Then from here, what we do, we end our if statement. So we can say end if. Basically, that's one example of a selection problem where we are making a decision to say, given this condition, what should we do? Then next, we want to look at a repetition. So with a repetition, it depends on the type to say, is it known the number of times that we want to repeat or not? If it's known, we might use a for loop. If it's not known, we might go to while loop. So let's try with a for loop to say for I. Well, I is pointed to by 1 to 5. What do we do with the I? We might want to just display that we are counting. Then we might output I. But I will be taking a value from 1, 2, 3 going on. So we might need to push it to the next value to say, can we move to next I? I think basically that's the introduction to programming for A level. Let's meet again in the second series where we'll discuss similar problems and come up with solutions. Thank you, folks.